Hello, everyone, and welcome to this EFT tapping workshop. We are going to think about what are the biggest blocks that stop us from having deeper connections. We're going to look at 3 keys to deeper connections. I'm going to explain what EFT is and how to do it. And it's not just for relationships. You can use it in any area of your life. And then we're actually going to experience EFT. And I want this to be the meat of this workshop. And afterwards, if there's time, then we're going to have a sharing. So if you could just pop into the comments like a hi and where you're joining from. I am Jennifer Harmony and I'm logging in from Bali, Indonesia. So who else have we got here? Yay, Caitlin Singh, hi. I would just love to introduce myself for those who don't know me. My name is Jennifer Harmony and I guide people through the practice of subconscious reprogramming. And generally I work with people who are already on the path of awakening and consciousness, but I want to reprogram people's brains for love, to work through, you know, the kind of crap that we were handed in childhood and instead get our brains wired for love. And EFT tapping is the best tool that I've found personally to do that. And I've got 12 years experience with EFT tapping. I'm like OG when it comes to EFT. How to create deeper relationships. Well, first of all, why do we want deeper relationships, right? Like what's the purpose of having a deeper relationship? Because we all know how precious it is when we feel understood, when we feel seen, and when we feel heard. That is just one of the most rewarding and beautiful experiences, I believe, that we have as humans. And so we're also going to have relationships until the day that we die. It's very difficult to survive as a human being without any human contact at all. And I personally am a massive fan of really learning how to create a deeper relationship and how to have a deeper relationship with ourselves as well. And you've probably heard this saying, like, in order to have a really healthy relationship, you've really got to love yourself. The key is to love yourself first. And again, there's like loads of hype around self-love, but like, how do we actually love ourselves, right? Like, so many people wonder that, like, or people think that they do love themselves, but then, you know, when things are difficult or when that little like gremlin part of us comes up, we realize like, oh man, that's a hard part of ourselves to love. And this is one of the reasons why I adore EFT tapping, because it is a phenomenal tool where we were able to really give love to all those different parts of ourselves. So we're going to dive into that a little bit later. So what I would love to know first is what is stopping you personally from having deeper connections? What are blocks that come up in your own life that you believe stop you from having deeper connections? So I've got 3 things that I wrote down here, but I would love to tailor this workshop to you, especially those of you who are live with us. Please, like, let me know. So the 3 that I wrote down: the other person seeing my bad side, only wanting to present my good side. Second, the fear of being judged or criticized, of not being good enough. And the third one, which may surprise you, is having our authentic self judged when we were kids. So let me know, yes or no. Did you feel like you were able to fully express yourself and be completely authentic when you were a child 100% of the time? Or do you feel like as a kid, on certain occasions, and maybe even the majority of the time, you had to dim down that authentic expression? Let me know in the comments. Caitlin saying, as a kid, sure. As a young adult, when sexuality started becoming a thing, then no. Wow, that's amazing, Caitlin. Yeah, people are saying, no, 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 it wasn't possible to be my authentic self child. So Fiza is saying, definitely had to watch out not to show it all. And yeah, Caitlin, I'm meaning more as a kid. So, right, check this out. How cool is this? Until we're 7 years old, our brain is actually in a theta state. what's happening is our brain is being programmed in order to respond to the environment around it. We're literally learning how to survive in this world. And we do that through the mirror neurons in our brain, taking in the environment and watching how the adults around us are responding and reacting to us and to each other. Like key survival instinct that is hardwired into everyone's brain. What that means is that until we're 7 years old, there's not so much, there's so much malleability in the brain that we think what is happening is what is real, is what is just how reality is and how reality works. So if we're shut down and we have our authentic self repressed before the age of 7, then that has a massive impact on our whole life. Like our neural circuitry literally wires like that. And what's phenomenal with EFT is we're able to unwire that. Like we're able to reprogram that, to rewire our subconscious mind. And neuroplasticity, it's easier to do EFT than it is to talk about the science of it. The neuroplasticity, the malleability of our brain is like really incredible. And I just wish that we were taught a little bit more about this. So here are the 3 keys that I feel are necessary for deeper connections. First is to know yourself. So to understand how you work on the inside. What are your shadows? What are your gifts? What are your struggles? And allow yourself to be honest with yourself. And this allows you to be honest in connections. That for me is the fundamental building block. The second step is to accept and to love yourself, and like radical self-acceptance, not like, oh, I'm good, I'm in a good mood, things are going well, so I'm going to do some self-care and I love myself. It's like, no, like I'm on a detox diet at the moment and I've been burning through so much anger the last couple of days, and like being loving with this angry part of me, which has felt like a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum for the last 2 days, just being really present and really patient and really loving with this part of me, it is a game changer. It's like the gift of being able to love every single part of ourselves. It just changes everything, and it makes it, and here's the key for relationships, it makes it so much easier for other people to love us. So it's tough to have our flaws seen by other people, but the more that we're able to love and accept ourselves, it's just easier for other people to accept and love those like parts of ourselves, the warts and all. And the third key for me to deeper connections is curiosity. So how can we be curious about the other person? And this can be applicable whether you've been in a relationship for 20 years or whether it's something that's totally, someone that you're having a first date with. Are you able to be curious about the person that you're meeting rather than just making assumptions and judgments about them? So I do hear that my style of EFT is quite different. A lot of the EFT is it's become quite formulaic and dry, and I definitely add a more, let's say, spiritual, conscious and humorous side to EFT. I definitely go deeper than a lot of people have. So what we're doing, and like who here has like rubbed their temples or rubbed their eyes or like done this or like drummed their fingers on the steering wheel where they're waiting in traffic, or like Philip is saying, just like intuitively like tapping on in the bath, right? Like it's just like our bodies are wired to heal, our minds are wired to heal and to release this, like the old programs that we got in childhood. So EFT, it's a self-empowerment technique. So I'm going to guide you in it, but you are the one who's touching your own body and probably in a different continent than you even. And you are the one that's actually doing this. So I love the fact that it's self-healing, it's self-empowering, but it's a way to reprogram the subconscious mind. And I'm going to be able to give you like a little taster on this call today. Yeah, and I also have over 80 videos on YouTube where you can dive into like loads of different topics with me, and that's all there. The link to my YouTube channel is in the description, so check that out at another time. And what else to say about EFT? Yeah, like when we reprogram the subconscious mind, it actually allows us to create a new reality for ourselves. So our mind is our mind determines how we react to situations, how we react to people, how we react to relationships. But we're actually able to reprogram the mind, which changes how we react, which puts us into a totally different reality. So EFT, it's just the best way that I've found to integrate the spiritual principles that I learned after spending 20 years in Asia. And, I was really on this quest for self-love. Well, actually, I just thought I was on a quest for happiness, but the happiness turned out to be self-love. I realized that I forgot to introduce myself, actually. So I hated myself until I was 29 years old. My inner monologue, so the voice in my head, my inner thoughts were so hateful to the point that I wanted to kill myself, but I believed so strongly in reincarnation. I thought, well, I'm just going to come back anyway. So I felt so trapped in this earth, so trapped in this body with absolutely no way out. So I went on a massive meditation kick and unraveled things that way. But I realized after I reached this place of self-love and undid the trauma that happened to me when I was a child, I realized that wasn't a journey that I could prescribe to other people. And it also all unraveled in one moment in meditation. And I was thinking, God, if we can get traumatized that quickly, we should be able to untraumatize ourselves really quickly. I shouldn't have needed to spend 7 years traveling in India and meditating and going on all these pilgrimages, or 29 years, let's say 22 years since the trauma had happened, hating myself. I just believe the universe is smarter than that. So it was very soon after that, after I put that intention out, that I really want to guide people to be able to have these massive transformations and let go of the pain from their past and be able to access the joy that is available to people in every moment. That was when EFT fell into my lap. And, recently, I was doing some review calls with clients and asking them how they were getting on now, a few months after we've been working together. And one client said to me, I thought I loved myself before and I was doing a pretty good job. But she said, now I wake up every morning and I put my hand on my heart and I say to myself, I love and respect myself. She said, and I mean it every morning. And that for me is just woo, goosebumps. It's that's possible. So how do we do EFT? We are going to be stimulating by tapping different meridian points on the upper part of the body. And at the same time, we're going to be saying sentences back and forward. So I'm going to be saying something out loud and you're going to repeat it back. Now, this is only going to work if you do it together with me. I know it looks a little bit wacky and a little bit weird, but I'm hoping that you're somewhere private and just give it a go. We're going to do 15, 20 minutes. And yeah, you will be surprised at what happens and what shifts. So we're going to tap on different meridian points, and what might happen as you do this is you might start yawning or burping or crying or laughing. You might feel tingles or waves of energy moving. That's all totally normal, completely okay. And what's happening, and this has been proven, scientifically proven, that what's happening is cortisol, the stress hormone, is being decreased and oxytocin, the love hormone, is being increased. So it's a very feel-good technique, other than looking a little bit weird. There's no side effects. So of course, if you're driving, best to pull over. Please don't do this while you're operating heavy machinery. Caitlin's saying we've all got that radio station in our mind, right? So let's learn how to deal with that radio station that's not always playing the our own personal greatest hits. Okay, so I'm going to start off by tapping on the back side of our hand and taking a big deep breath into our bellies. Exhaling with a sigh. Yeah, here we go. And I really invite you to just let whatever is coming up. So repeat back after me. I'd really love to have deeper connections, but I feel blocked. There's some blocks in the way from me creating deeper connections. And even with these blocks, I love and accept myself. Taking a deep breath. Down between the eyebrows where the hairy part ends. I'm open to the possibility of releasing these insecurities, these disappointments, and creating deeper connections. We tap to the sides of the eyes, taking a deep breath again. And so with EFT, what's important is that we acknowledge the negative. We acknowledge that radio station that's playing the negative thing, or that part of us that's saying the negative thing. So if we're just in positive affirmation land, then it doesn't work so well. So we're just going to acknowledge some of the negative things that are there, that are the blocks. Okay, so repeating back after me. Part of me feels really insecure. Into the eyes. When it comes to creating deeper connections, part of me is really insecure. Tapping into the nose. I've been disappointed in the past. Into the lips. I've been rejected. Down to the chest. I've been abandoned. And I've been hurt. Taking a deep breath. And I love and forgive myself for shutting down and being afraid of deeper connections. Deep breath. You're doing so well. Stay with me. Tap into the front of the ribs. I have to just roll back a little bit to show you the point. So it's, I'm trying to, sorry, it's the mirror of the Zoom's a bit different. So yeah, tapping the top of the ribs. I'm going to stand up a little bit. Front of the ribs, in line with the nipples. And let's say all of these insecurities, all of these past hurts, I'm open to the possibility of letting them go now. Tapping to the side of the body. So it's where the brass strap would be if you were wearing a brass strap. And you can either do like this, like the monkey tap, or you can cross your arms and give yourself a hug and cross and tap over the side. Another deep breath. Part of me is scared of losing myself into the relationship. Tap into the wrist, where the wrist bends. Scared of not being enough. Scared of being too much. Tap into the back side of the hand. I don't want them to see my bad side. Let's say that another couple of times. I don't want them to see my bad side. I don't want them to see my bad side. Deep breath. I love and accept the part of me that only wants them to see my good side. Tapping up to the top of the head. What if it's okay for me to have a bad side? I know they've got a bad side too. And I'm open to the possibility that it's normal and okay. And I am learning how to love this part of me that I judged as bad, that was told it was bad when I was a kid. Between the eyebrows, deep breath. Even though I was judged and shamed as a child, the sides of the eyes, was able to receive love only when I was good. and was punished when I was bad. I'm letting that part of me know that I am worthy of love. Under the eyes. Every single part of me is worthy of love. Deep breath. Tapping under the nose. Every single part of me is worthy of love. Even the part of me that I judge is not good enough. Tapping under the lips. And so I'm open to the possibility of loving every part of who I am. The chest. Of knowing every part of who I am. Of allowing and accepting every part of who I am. Deep breath. Tap into the front of the ribs again. Show you the point. Yeah. Even though I've been hurt in the past, I survived. Let's say that again. Even though I was hurt in the past, I survived. And I'm allowing my heart to open again to the side of the body. I'm allowing my heart to open, even if it's just for myself. Deep breath. Tap into the wrist. I am allowing my heart to open for deeper connections. Deeper connections with myself and deeper connections with others. Tap into the back side of the hand. So here's something that I haven't spoken about yet that's actually also really important, is safety, right? Like we need to feel safe in order to have a deep relationship. So let's say aloud, all the safety I need is inside of me. All the safety I need is inside of me. Tapping up to the top of the head. And as I learn to love every part of me, I start to feel safer in myself. And I start to feel safer in this world. Feel safer with other people. Deep breath. Between the eyebrows. And I'm letting this little kid in me come out and be curious. To the sides of the eyes. I'm going to say that again. I'm letting this little kid in me come out and be curious. Into the eyes, deep breath. I'm creating safety inside of myself. Knowing and trusting that anytime I am hurt, I've got me. Under the nose. That I'm able to love and support myself. Tapping under the lips. And so it's safe for me to open to deeper connections. Just 10% more. Maybe 20% more. Maybe 30% more. What number do you feel? Like, what dial would you put? Like 50%? 70%? Tap into the chest. I'm learning to love every part of me. Because the truth is that even when I was shut down and judged as a kid, when I was shamed and criticized, when I was told that I was too much or not good enough, the truth is I was worthy of love. Deep breath. So I'd just like you to think back to that younger self, that little kid that you were. Just imagine them in front of you as you tap on your chest and say to them, I love you. You can say that out loud. I love you. You're so strong and courageous. You are such a brave, and then girl or boy, whatever word describes you as a child. I love your quirkiness. I love how naughty and playful you are. Thank you for being. And then invite that kid to play with you. Invite this child to come and sit in your heart, play in your heart. Beautiful. Tapping down to the front of the ribs, taking a deep breath. I am learning how to let go of the pain from my past because I deserve a happy future. The side of the body. And it is never too late to have a happy childhood. That's a quote from a Tom Robbins book. And I'm choosing to have deeper connections. Let's tap down the arms and say, I'm choosing to have deeper connections now. Down the legs, down the body, up the chest, head. I am ready for deeper connections. I am grateful for deeper connections. So that's EFT. If you haven't done it before, I would love to hear a few words from each of you about how was that experience for you? You know, like, how are you feeling now? Did you have any insights? Were there tears that came up? Do you feel happy? Like, this isn't Zoom, so I can't see your faces. So I'm really relying on you giving a couple of words or an emoji about how you're feeling now. Barak saying it was amazing. Thank you for tapping with me, Barak. Nadia is saying not knowing what deeper connection is. So that was before we started tapping. So I would grab a pen and paper if I were you, and I would journal. And this is actually like a great exercise for everyone. Like, journal, what is a deeper connection to you? Because maybe it's something different to you than it is to someone else. So like, that's a beautiful visualization exercise actually to go into after this call, is what would a deeper connection look like to you? In a romantic relationship, maybe with work colleagues, with some of your friends. Like, get curious and ask yourself and research. So Visa is saying, it was very powerful. I had tears and also waves of energy. Beautiful. Minnie is saying, feeling really grounded. Caitlin is saying, really great. Barak saying, yes, there were tears. Minnie saying, playful, joyful, and calm all at once. Philip is saying, tears came up at the end, honoring my inner child, being in pain and deserving of love. Yes, absolutely. So beautiful. Be like gentle and sweet with yourself. And Barak is saying, I loved it. Minnie's saying, my head feels clearer, more energy. Barak saying, now I feel relief. Okay, wow, you guys are super receptive. And this is like, you know what I'm saying at the beginning as I'm stumbling over like words from neuroscience, is it's so much easier just to do this technique than it is to talk about. A few takeaways for you all. I would just love for you to really learn how to like know yourself and accept and love every single part of who you are. and also commit to having difficult conversations. So it can be very easy to just avoid like talking about the difficult things, but having a conversation with someone is like when we're anytime that I'm feeling nervous or I'm feeling really like, oh goodness, like I can't actually say that to them, but something in me is saying like, yeah, this needs to be said. Um, like for me personally, I will just tap on the fear of telling the person this thing. Again, there's like videos on my YouTube that take you through that. And then there's this like 4-step framework that I can share super quickly with you that I think comes from giving the talk on Instagram. It was like someone else that told me about it, but I love this. So the first step is you say, there's something that's really hard for me to tell you, something that I've been afraid or nervous to tell you. The second step is, it's hard for me to tell you this because, and then you say why. So it's hard for me to tell you this because I'm scared you're not going to love me anymore, or I'm scared you're going to be really disappointed in me, or I'm scared you're going to think that I'm too much. The third step is, what I'd really like to get out of telling you this is, for example, for you to listen to me, or for you to validate how I'm feeling, or I'd really like to get out of this just the practice of sharing my deeper thoughts with you, and or I'd really like to get out of this clarity on our relationship. And then the fourth step is to say, the thing that I've been really scared to tell you is, and then you come out and say what the thing is. This framework has helped me so much in having difficult conversations with friends, with my partner, with like people that I've been in a work dynamic with. It's so helpful because I feel it engender like it gets empathy from the other person, because generally people don't want you to be scared of them, right? Like there are exceptions of people that, you know, have been so wounded that they do want you to be scared of them. But generally, if you actually want to have a deeper connection with someone, they don't want you to be scared of them. So this fourth step, you might want to like save this video or bookmark it and kind of write those down, because it's really, really useful. So yeah. So commit to having difficult conversations, and also I recommend doing a relationship check-in for those of you that are in a romantic relationship, but also even with your friends. It can be really beneficial to get into the habit of like actually doing a little check-in with them. And I figured it out just by Googling how to do a relationship check-in and then choosing 3 questions that I thought would be beneficial. So, yeah, just kind of to wrap up, I want to give like a massive shout out to Lua, who organized the Rise in Love Summit and allows me to be here and connecting with all of you and sharing this amazing tool of EFT with you. And yeah, I'm like, Lua was this thing that I was just waiting for in the world, because I was not impressed with the online dating world or by the impact I was seeing it was having in my like on my clients' lives. And it like Lua just presented this like amazing concept for online dating with people who are more conscious and open and loving, and it's about creating deeper, meaningful connections with people. So I'm super excited it's rolling out in the UK, hopefully later this year. And if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, that's also available. You can find out information on my website, jenniferharmony.com, or you can DM me on Facebook and I can give you all the details. I've also got I've also got an online course where I teach you how to use EFT tapping by yourself, like to work through your daily triggers, to share loads of different ways that you can use EFT, and it's really, really life-changing to create a very loving, supportive inner voice. So that's available, and yeah, all that information is going to be it's already in the description. And yeah, like I've been saying, there's like over 80 of these sort of mini tapping sessions for free on YouTube, so the link's there as well. And yeah, and any epiphanies or insights or anything like that that you would like to share, or I just want to say like a huge thank you to you all for showing up for yourselves, for learning to love yourselves. It's something so important in this world, because ultimately the one relationship that's going to be with you until the day that you die is the relationship that you have with yourself. So it's, essential to make this priority number one and really like the most important relationship in your life. And EFT is just the best way that I've found in order to genuinely love ourselves. Thank you all so much. And yeah, big love from my heart to yours.